on. What a party. You know, I am told that we have 3,792 delegates registered at this UCP AGM. And that, my friends, makes this the largest provincial party AGM in Alberta's 118-year history. And it may well be the largest one in Canadian history. Well done, all of you. Thank you so much for being here. But it's because the Conservative movement in Alberta is stronger than it's ever been, and it's growing faster than it ever has. And we are more united as a movement, as a caucus, and as a party than ever before. And oh yeah, since we last gathered as a party last fall, we ran against our NDP socialist friends and their allies in the union movement in a provincial election. And maybe you didn't hear, but we won. That election victory and the growing strength of our party is so critical to the future of our province and to the future of our country, because Canada needs Alberta to be a national leader. Millions across our great nation look to our province to protect and foster the principles of freedom, of civil rights, of free enterprise, and economic prosperity. They look to us to demonstrate the power of compassionate conservatism and show why we are creating a powerhouse and a job-creating economy like ours, and why that's crucial to delivering the health care and education and public safety and social support programs that our citizens need without mortgaging our children's futures with crushing debt and high taxes. The entire world is looking to us right now to demonstrate that reducing emissions and developing our natural energy resources are not in conflict with each other. In fact, the only way the world will ever meaningfully reduce emissions while avoiding energy poverty for billions is to develop our energy resources using the new and emerging technologies being funded by that very resource development. History has shown time and again that economic growth and technology are the keys to solving global poverty and environmental challenges. It is the eco-extreme dogmas of people like Stephen Guilbeault, eco-extreme dogmas such as limiting economic growth, energy scarcity, and centralized control of people's activities. These are failed policies that lead to extreme poverty, soaring crime and addiction, poor environmental outcomes, and the loss of personal freedoms and civil rights. And my fellow Conservatives, Alberta is leading, and we must continue to lead. We must be that shining city on the hill, that land of promise that the best and brightest Canadians and people from around the world look to and say, there is the land of opportunity my family and I want to make our home. Those are the people I want my family and I to be part of, to work with and build a community with. We are that place. Albertans are that people. But there are powerful forces on the left in this country, including the Liberal NDP coalition government, who believe that our province is a problem, a threat to their power and worldview. They believe that we must be forced to change our way of life without delay or concern for cost. These individuals, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Green czar, Stephen Guilbeault, are set on enforcing this belief by effectively capping production on our provincial natural resources, which we know will cost Albertans hundreds of thousands of jobs and hundreds of billions in economic investment and provincial revenues in the coming years. These same individuals also believe that our province must fundamentally transform our power grid to be net zero within approximately a decade, dangerously risking the reliability of Alberta's power grid and at a cost of hundreds of billions of dollars to Alberta ratepayers. And they seek to impose these policies on our province, knowing full well the Canadian Constitution grants to our province exclusive jurisdiction over the development of our natural resources and the operation of our provincial power grid. And And even despite having their unconstitutional Bill C-69, which you know is the No More Pipelines bill, I've been calling that the Don't Build Anything Anywhere legislation, even despite losing on Bill C-69, that legislation was struck down by the Supreme Court. They are still hell-bent on imposing those destructive leftist policies on the people of Alberta. You know what I say to them? Not a chance. Not as long as I'm Premier. Our UCP caucus will never waver in defending the rights and livelihoods of the people of Alberta, and we will thwart every effort of the current federal government to do so until that day, hopefully in the not-too-distant future, when we have a government in Ottawa that understands the concepts of nation-building, the Constitution, and empowering provinces to achieve our goals and aspirations. And until that day comes, we will not give the current group an inch. We will never compromise the future of Albertans. And as it appears the Liberal NDP coalition is continuing with its new electricity regulations and emissions cap, our government is currently preparing several motions under the Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act, detailing the initiatives and legislation needed to protect Albertans from these unconstitutional and harmful policies. I promise you, Albertans will have access to affordable and reliable electricity no matter the season, the weather, or the time of day. And we will not permit the federal government to risk the safety and prosperity of Albertans in this regard. We will hold firm to the knowledge that the world needs more Alberta energy and technology, not less of it. And we intend to empower Albertans to deliver it. Well, my friends, Alberta has not reached the peak of our provincial journey or prosperity, just the opposite. Our province is in the midst of Alberta's century. Alberta is growing faster than at any time in our history. Hundreds of thousands of new and wonderful people are intentionally choosing to call this province home each year. And as we surpass 5 million people in the coming 24 months, our province and government must set our priorities and guide our work through the lens of understanding that by 2050, if we continue at this rate, our province could well be the second largest in the country with a population approaching 10 million people. Now think about that. I can assure you these newcomers are coming here for the same reason people have always come here, to experience the Alberta advantage. I meet new Albertans all the time, and I can tell you that those moving to our province possess the same strength of character and vision of those that built Alberta into the incredible place that it is today. They are entrepreneurs and builders. They believe in family and personal responsibility. They want law and order and to build strong communities. They are our people. They are Albertans. And let me say this, we must reach out and welcome them so they know that they have a warm and inviting home in this province, in this government, and in this party. But all of this growth presents both incredible opportunities and massive challenges for our province. It means that our economy will be one of the strongest in the world for many decades. It means that all the technology and growth to build flourishing new industries and transforming and growing established ones will occur right in our front yard. It means massive infrastructure improvements and new recreational and entertainment opportunities that will build our quality of life and our culture for decades. But it also means significant challenges born out of high growth and economic activity, and our government and this party must face these challenges head-on. Together, we must commit to building an Alberta that will be the envy of the world for decades, that will become the best and brightest, that will welcome the best and brightest people in the world for decades, an Alberta that will lead this country for the rest of this century. The time to build and grow and lead is now. And as our government commences our 4-year term in office, I want you to know what we're focusing on to accomplish this. We will focus on keeping Alberta affordable for families and businesses as we grow. We will do that by lowering your personal income taxes by $750 per taxpayer or $1,500 per family. And we've just introduced Bill 1, the Taxpayer Protection Amendment Act, to guarantee there will be no increases in personal or business taxes in this province without approval by Albertans in a referendum. Our government will focus our efforts and those of our municipalities on finding creative solutions to massively increase construction of new houses for sale and rent so that Albertans can find homes that fit their budgets. Over the coming months, our government will also work with industry and consumers on a package of reforms to our electricity system to ensure Albertans have access to much more affordable and reliable power, and to support a power grid that will need to more than double its capacity in the coming decades to allow for high population and economic growth. And when our government lifts the freeze in the new year on auto insurance, we will also be implementing a series of reforms to limit increases to premiums for drivers who have safe driving records, as well as other changes to assist insurers in keeping premiums much more reasonable and competitive with the rest of the country. Affordability will continue to be a top priority as we build Alberta and welcome new families to our province. So too will be reforming and growing the capacity of our healthcare system. Despite the excellent work of doctors, nurses, and other frontline staff, more work is needed so Albertans can access world-class health care when and where they need it. So please stay tuned, as our government will have more to say on this in the coming weeks on health reforms that will decentralize decision-making and resources from AHS down to the front lines, exactly where it should be. And with the substantive growth our province is set to experience in the years ahead, our government must significantly expand the number of spaces in our primary and post-secondary education systems. Not only do we need many more classrooms, teachers, assistants, and support staff, we will also need to provide more educational choices to parents by growing capacity in and improving the quality of our public and separate, charter, independent, and homeschooling systems. And I want every parent listening today to hear me loud and clear. Parents are the primary caregivers and educators of their children. We cannot have a successful province or a successful society without strong and nurturing families. And regardless of how often the extreme left undermines the role of parents, I want you to know that parental rights and choice in your child's education is and will continue to be a fundamental core principle of this party and this government, and we will never apologize for it. My friends, if Alberta wishes to maintain and further grow one of the world's most successful economies, we must build on our core strengths while incentivizing the creation and growth of new industries and opportunities. And as we add another 1 million people over the next 5 years and grow to 10 million by 2050, we must make substantial investments in our infrastructure. In addition to new healthcare facilities, schools, and other building infrastructure, we need to increase investment in our municipalities and provincial transportation networks. We need to think big. We are a province of builders. We are not a we can't people. We are a let's get her done people. Over the coming years and decades, we need to build commuter rail links between our two largest cities and their growing neighbouring communities and airports. We need to decongest our highways to Kananaskis and Banff with a passenger rail tie between the Calgary Airport, downtown Calgary, and Canmore and Banff. And yes, we need to start planning for the inevitable need for high-speed rail through the Calgary, Red Deer, Edmonton corridor when 6 to 7 million people call that corridor their home. We can and we will host world-class events and build world-class sporting and recreational venues and an infrastructure that we can all be proud of and benefit from. We will build because that is what Albertans have always done. But we will do so with fiscal discipline. This government will not simply place crushing debt on the back of our future generations of Albertans. Our children and grandchildren deserve so much better, and we will give them better. We will balance our provincial budget each year. We will limit spending increases each year to below inflation plus population growth, and we will pay down debt every year until we are debt-free once again. And when we run surpluses, rather than spend it all on the wants of today, we will build our Heritage Savings Trust Fund by the billions and eventually by the tens of billions, so that one day our reliance on oil and gas royalties will be eliminated. We will leave future generations of Albertans a legacy of prosperity and opportunity built on fiscal foundation as strong as our Rocky Mountains. So, yes, all of this is ambitious, but so too are Albertans. We have never been content with average. We are not a people to say good enough when there is so much more possibility in front of us. And we do not shy away from a challenge, not when the futures of our families and our friends and our neighbors are at stake. We are indeed a province of innovators, pioneers, and visionaries, but we're also a province of teachers and healers and protectors. And we will need the unique strengths and gifts of all of us, of our children and of their children, to realize the limitless possibility and promise of our remarkable home and our remarkable people. And I know that nothing, absolutely nothing, will stand in our way. May Alberta be forever strong and free.